morning. This is Andrew Praber with Great Expectations Realty, and today we're going to do a very special show on What's Up Ocala. We are going to be talking about some questions from our fans. So there's a lot of comments that we get online and through email and so forth. Some are questions, some are just comments, but I really wanted to take a few minutes today and address some of those. So yeah, sit back, relax, should be an interesting show today. So one of the questions that we have recently is how real estate is getting way too expensive, too high, and they want to know where real estate is cheaper. Well, that's a good question. The average for the nation is actually around $225,810 as of January 2022. So Florida was actually below average at a little over $215,000, and that's taking into account more expensive real estate in areas like Miami, Orlando, and Tampa. So actually, with as much as it has gone up, it is still less than the national average. But if you want to go into exactly what the average home price is by state for 2022, you can actually find that information. The Wall Street evaluated the data. A lot of the information they got through Zillow and some home sales there. But there's some really interesting statistics that you can find online, including that it's not just about the house price, because sometimes you'll have an average of a house price being, let's say, $225,000, but the house size or the school district or the jobs that are available are very, very different than the market you're in. Right now in Ocala, it is fairly easy to get a job. We are basically begging for employees here. That's not the case all over the nation. So if you were to go to a place such as one of the places where real estate is less expensive, such as West Virginia, in a very rural area, then the average price for the state of West Virginia is only $107,927. However, the job market is considerably different. Also, Mississippi, $127,206. Now, what about going into one of the more expensive markets? The most expensive market in the entire United States is Hawaii. The average price for a home in Hawaii is $615,300 as of January 2022. But the size of the house that will buy you is not the same as the size the house will be in, like, Marion County here in Ocala. Okay, so for example, you're going to find a typical home for $200,000 in Hawaii. Let's say just a typical $200,000 home, which, by the way, is very not typical. It's very, very difficult to find that. Let's say you're going to go ahead and do that. That will get you about 421 square feet of living space. That's right. You are going to get a tiny home for over $200,000. So if you go to a typical home anywhere else in the States, you're going to see for the exact same amount of $200,000, that will get you about 1,200 square feet of living space. So it's a little bit different. Instead of going to a small home, you will actually be in a tiny home. 421 square feet is not very big. I'm pretty sure some people have bedrooms that are that size here in Ocala. So you want to just kind of look at that. That is actually the average size for our two-car garages is about 421 square feet. If you want to kind of look at it and look at that space, that would be your living space for your home in Hawaii at around $200,000, if you can even find it, because that is well below the average price of a little over $615,000. So kind of interesting information. Feel free to check that out. But again, when you're considering places to live, you're not just going to consider the home price, but also the entire market. So the job market, the school districts, safety in some larger metro areas, that definitely comes into play. Also, you're going to want to look at the job market. So it's everything combined. Is that really where you're going to want to live? And kind of take that into account. I think we are very, very fortunate here in Ocala, Marion County for all of those reasons. So yeah. All right, so let's go on to another comment. This one kind kind of made me laugh when I saw it. Somebody was, commenting, in questions and stuff from somebody out of town. And a local resident said, Florida is full, no more people needed here, stay home. Okay, I personally got a kick out of that. I thought it was funny, but let's actually take a moment to look at the population growth. So Florida has gained more than 2.7 million new residents since 2010. Considering 2010 was actually still in a bursted bubble, it was really hard on us at that time. So, while we were considering everybody was really leaving Florida, 2008 to 2010, we actually have had millions of new residents since 2010. In fact, it makes it the third most populous state after California and Texas. We have over 21 million people. Florida's population grew by 14.6% compared to a decade earlier. So what about the projected growth? I think that's more important and more relevant. Florida is projected to gain about 845 new residents per day. And quite frankly, we're getting quite a few of them here in Ocala. So as we are growing, and that will continue to grow over the next few years and over the next decade, what is that really going to mean to us? Obviously, there's a lot of road projects going. There's a lot of homes that are going up. There's more grocery stores coming in. Even out by where I live, I know there's a new Publix coming in. It looks like it's actually got its front doors now, so I'm kind of excited about that. It's got its fresh coat of paint. So it's kind of interesting, some of the changes that we're seeing. We've got grocery stores coming in. We've got parks coming in. We've got roads coming in. And this is all to help balance the strain that these new residents are taking on the community. But again, it is a community. So we have those new members of our community are happening. It is definitely happening. So instead of not wanting it to happen, that's not really a possibility. Instead, it's what are we going to do because it is happening? How are we going to make sure that we have the infrastructure and make sure that we have everything in place so that we don't lose anything by gaining these new residents. So that's really what our focus should be on, making sure that we don't lose our beautiful horse farms and the farmland that we're known for by having all of this new infrastructure. So that's kind of more of the key point. We definitely have a fantastic job market right now. One of the reasons that Florida is expected to grow is because of the very proactive, business-friendly government that Florida has. So we have some newer highway jobs for workers, and that they're competing even on a global scale. So we definitely see that, and we see a lot of growth over the next 10 years, just as we've seen it from the past 10 years. So definitely want to basically prepare for that growth because that is going to continue to happen. Even though at least one commenter definitely did not feel that that was something that they wanted to see. I can relate. I definitely miss some of the farms that are already turning into companies and turning into housing developments and stuff. Even as a realtor, as much as I really need houses right now to sell, I still don't want to lose those beautiful horse farms. Definitely hate to see that happen. So if we can retain those as much as possible, that would be the best thing, I think, for the community as a whole. So we are definitely paying attention to that. I think more and more green space is something that we need to see as well. Of course, we have the Cross Florida Greenway, we have rail trails, we have parks all over the county, but I think more parks are definitely something that needs to be tied in. We don't want to lose focus on the beautiful areas that we have here. So, all right. What's another question we had going on? When will the real estate crash again? Oh my goodness, I have seen this question over and over and over on repeat, it feels like. So yeah, obviously my crystal ball broke long ago. I no longer have one. It kind of died with the pandemic, but if I had to, guess or anything like that, I think really looking at the difference between what is a boom and what is a bubble and how those two really react together and what it really means to the entire picture. You know, a lot of people that are younger, especially, that maybe weren't paying their own bills during the recession, don't realize all of the aspects of it. They're just kind of hoping to have less expenses on real estate. They're like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and wait for a crash because I'm kind of getting priced out of the market right now with interest rates going so high. Okay, well, for those of you that remember, you know, the 70s and 80s, I'm sure you probably saw interest rates in the double digits. So 4 or 5% interest rate was actually not that high. It would have been great at that time period. So we've definitely seen other things besides what we're seeing right now. 4 or 5% is still fairly low, but it's not as low as what we've seen for the last decade, down in the 2 or 3%. So, you know, it is double what people are used to, if not more, but it's still fairly low. It's still in the single digits. So that definitely comes into play. One of the other things that comes into play with that is that this here in Ocala especially, it's one of the fastest growing places in the United States right now. So is it a boom or is it a bubble? We actually, and you can verify that. You can go on to US News and World Report, pull it up online if you like, and just select one of the best places to live. And yeah, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina was number 1. Sarasota, Florida was number 2. Fort Myers, Florida was number 3. Naples, Florida was number 4. Lakeland, Florida is number 5. And Ocala, Florida was number 6. That is craziness. That is absolute craziness. So 5 out of 6 places nationwide to live, fastest growing places in the United States, are here in Florida. Number 6 is Ocala. Can you imagine Ocala a few years ago being compared to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, or Sarasota, or Fort Myers? That's just unheard of. But we are definitely number 6 in fastest growing places to live. So I think it has our quality of life, an overall score of 6.6. I guess a lot of people could agree or disagree with that, but feel free to jump online and look at that information. So what is a boom? A boom is a period of increased commercial activity within either a business, a market, an industry, an economy as a whole. So sometimes we'll see individual companies that have a boom. I absolutely love it when my company has a boom. It's just a time period of significant sales growth. But what happens is sometimes we have a countrywide boom. And sometimes you'll see booms associated with the stock market. So when we see it associated with the stock market, we'll say it's in a bull market, whereas busts are, of course, associated with a bear market. So a lot of you are probably going, yeah, we already knew that. Why are you going over it? Well, not everybody knows that, okay? So let's just go over this information. So booms are often medium to long-term periods of time of economic or market growth. And sometimes, depending on the circumstances, they can turn into a bubble. A bubble is when the boom extends far beyond the actual growth trend in value, where the buyers become irrationally exuberant. Now, we did see a bit of a bubble in 2020, where we had those extenuating circumstances. There were so many people in lockdown in other states, and it got cold and they got cabin fever, and they were all sitting there at their computers working, and they were doing remote work, and they were like, why in the world am I doing this here as opposed to living in Florida and doing this beside my pool where it's a lot more open and a lot more things to do outside and a lot better weather? Why am I dealing with this? So that caused exuberant buyers, irrationally exuberant buyers, all at once. Literally thousands, if not millions of people all had the same thought, and they all came rushing down to the southern states all at once. It was chaos. It only lasted for about a month or two, thankfully. But during that time, a lot of real estate was sold Many people were trying to make offers on the same properties. It was definitely a bubble. Thankfully, it did not last long enough for there to be a burst. That I say thankfully, because if that had have continued, it would have become a very difficult situation for us locally, because we were not prepared for that much all at once. What growth we're seeing now is more of a boom. It's a lot more steady. It is increasing, and it's just not, it's not as exuberant as it was before, which is great because I need sleep. I basically went 2 months without any sleep there for a little bit. So I'm very grateful that that has actually slowed down quite a bit. I'm sure a lot of other community members have feelings of the same thing when we were just rocked by so many people coming down at once. We were ourselves dealing with the pandemic and what that means to business and how to conduct business, while, you know, constantly there was employees that were out sick. It was just very difficult situation all around. But to have that many customers all at once was difficult. It was unpleasant, especially when, you know, we would go out and show the same house to 15 different people and they're all making an offer on the same property. It was just very difficult situation. So we are still having multiple offers on a single property, but it's not because of this overly exuberant buyer. It's people that are coming down, they're transferring with their jobs. It's people that are, you know, have been wanting to retire to Florida for quite some time. It's the normal market. We just don't have that many houses available to keep up with demand because Ocala has seen such a boom, and we weren't really prepared for it a few years ago. Once we actually started having everybody move down, it just didn't have the housing in place because there was such a burst to the market in 2008 that we didn't really build houses. We didn't build houses for quite some time. So once that kind of cleaned itself up, which is what happens with time heals all wounds. But because we didn't have those houses to sell to people and we needed them, that's where we kind of got into an issue with the escalating prices. This will kind of, again, it will clean itself up again because a lot of homes are being built. Those homes that should have been in a normal, steady market built over time, we're seeing them all at once. So it is a bit of a shock to locals. Definitely feeling the shock of, good grief, there's, you know, 12, 15 different planned unit developments coming in. There's thousands of houses. What do we do? It's just that we're seeing 10 to 15 years worth of construction all happening at once. So the stopper has been pulled from the bottle and everything is just coming out at once. Those road projects that needed to get done, those increases in wages that needed, all of that is happening at once. And we're definitely seeing the effect of it happening all at the same time. We are definitely going to feel some pains, some growing pains going on. You can definitely, if you've ever gone down 484 over near I-75, you've definitely felt the pain of that intersection. Now, does that mean that it's not going to get fixed? No, that's actually something that they've been working on for quite some time to get that road enlarged and to get the turn lanes and everything. But anything you touch I-75, it's going to take years to get all of the paperwork through. That's an interstate. So to have anything done near there, it's going to take time. So yes, of course, we want to make sure all of that is done. We are definitely feeling those growing pains though. So hopefully that helps with that question. I think if you ever want to have a discussion about real estate, I love real estate. I absolutely adore Ocala and I love real estate and I love talking about all of the changes going on for better or for worse, and just discussing what is happening with the market nationwide and locally. I just absolutely love it. So to sit down and talk about that stuff with me would be great. Real quick, I wanted to go over the numbers. The numbers for Marion County here in Marion County, Florida. We've got new listings in the last 7 days. 331 new listings have hit the market. It sounds like a lot, right? Until you look to see that pending 437 properties have gone pending. Now keep in mind, these 331 listings are not just houses. This is commercial, this is rental, this is vacant land, this is houses, this is mobile homes, this is everything. Duplexes, triplexes, quads, everything that has hit the MLS for the last 7 days. So again, 331 new listings, 437 have gone pending. So you can see how that trend is that more houses are being sold than are actually hitting the market. So actual closings on houses, we had another 297 that have closed. So that means that they probably hit the market last month and they have just actually closed on those deals now. So 297 actual closed, pending of the current listings that are under contract. Pending means under contract, 437. New listings, 331 this week. Price increase, 75. Price decreases, 112. Back on the market, they did not go through on their contracts or for whatever reason, they are back on the market. We had 103 this week hit the market again. Expired, we had 31. That is actually fairly low for an end of the month, new month kind of situation. So we had 31 expired. We had 22 leases. They are leased out. So those actually don't count as the pending. These are leased properties. Temporarily off the market, we had 19. Withdrawn, we had 3. And we had 30 canceled contracts. So 30 canceled listings in the last 7 days. So just hopefully you can take this information. This is for all properties that were on the MLS. This is information from Stellar MLS only in regards to Marion County. And that's basically what our market is doing this week. So let's go ahead and take a look next week and see what those numbers are doing then. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to go ahead and send them over to our email, which is GER, Great Expectations Realty. So it's GER.ExpectMore@gmail.com. All right, let's go ahead and move on to what is going on in Ocala today. So today, of course, we have the Ocala Downtown Market that is every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's on the corner of 3rd and 3rd, Southeast 3rd Street and Southeast 3rd Avenue. They've got vendors, they've got fresh produce, they've got live music, food trucks, coffee. It's very pet friendly. It's absolutely a wonderful time. I keep meaning to go down there and get my knives sharpened, but I haven't gone down there yet. Anyway, I go down there, but I forget to bring my knives. Go figure. But yeah, they actually have somebody that will sharpen your kitchen knives, which is great. So what else do we have? Today, this afternoon, it looks like Downtown Square is basically the place to be. 8th Annual Brick City Beer and Wine Festival. That's a mouthful right there. The 8th Annual Brick City Beer and Wine Festival. Okay, that's over at Ocala Citizen Circle. It's on Southeast Osceola Avenue. It's the event features a full day of beer, wine sampling, and it's from local and regional breweries and wineries. They've got some live music, they've got food trucks, craft vendors, and a kids soda saloon. So kids are welcome, even though it is a beer and wine festival. So stop on out for that. Then we have the Ocala Horse Sale, which is at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion. That is going on right now until 7 p.m. So feel free to go on out there. There is bidding online if you would like to do that. It's provided through Horse Auctions USA. Or if you want to go out and take a look, then stop on out to the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion. We have the Timberline Farms Butterfly and Blueberry Festival. Yes, it's that time again. It's time to go and pick those blueberries. But over at the Timberline Farms Festival, we are actually one of the vendors out there. So if you'd like to come out and say hello, please feel free to stop in. We are giving away all sorts of goodies. We have a spin to win, and we've got sunglasses and bubbles for the kids and candy and all sorts of stuff that we're doing. So please feel free to stop out for that. We are also giving away some Ocala t-shirts. So stop on over for that. Say hello and chit chat if you can. That is over at Timberline Farms. Feel free to Google that so that you can get the exact address, or you can actually just put it in Google Maps and they will do that. That's over in Bellevue, and it's from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday and 12 to 6 on Sunday. So stop on out. There's plenty of games, rides, all sorts of fun stuff for the whole family. So come on out. There is also food trucks at that event and live music. We also have hot cars and cool cats. That is actually, the proceeds are going to benefit ears. It's $10 for the show entry, free for spectators. So stop on out. They've got a 50-50. They got a raffle table. They've got vendors, music, and great food. And then also over at the Town Square, Circle Square Commons over on 80th Street. It's free and open to the public. We've got the Spring Band Jam. So feel free to stop out to that tonight. It's 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And I think that is about it. There's just so much stuff going on all over the place. I've got pages and pages and notes, which is a little overwhelming. We do over at Citizen Circle all day today have Ocala Walk the Talk. It's to announce the Epilepsy Florida's walks are back. You can make a difference to more than 500,000 individuals living with epilepsy in Florida, and you can help to celebrate the 50th anniversary of excellence and service to the community. So on-site walk registration, it begins at 8 a.m. They have vendor station, kid zones, and so much more. And they have already started walking, but still feel free to go on out there, and they will have an award ceremony after the walk. And then you can grab a beer because it's going to be at the Beer and Wine Festival as well. So it's going to be very, very busy at downtown. Have so much fun down there, I hope. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free again to reach out. Give us a call at 352-817-9160. Or you can go ahead and send us an email at GER.ExpectMore@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.